In the dim, echoing hallway of Willow Creek High School, where lockers slammed like thunderclaps and whispers cut deeper than knives, a single shove changed everything. It was lunchtime, the kind of chaotic hour where students swarmed like bees, buzzing with gossip and laughter. But for Emily Harper, a quiet 16-year-old with her nose buried in a worn paperback, it was just another moment to fade into the background. That is, until Jake Thompson, the school's notorious bully with a chip on his shoulder the size of a boulder, decided she was his next target. With a sneer that twisted his handsome features into something ugly, he grabbed her shoulder and shoved her hard against the cold metal locker. "Watch where you're going, freak," he snarled, his voice dripping with venom. The crowd around them froze, expecting the usual tears or timid retreat. But 10 seconds later, as Emily straightened up with a calm that silenced the hall, Jake would learn he had laid hands on the wrong shy girl, and the consequences would shatter his world in ways he never imagined. Emily wasn't always this way. Growing up in a small town on the outskirts of Willow Creek, she had been the epitome of invisibility. Her parents had died in a car accident when she was just 8, leaving her to bounce between foster homes like a forgotten toy. Each new family brought its own set of rules, its own disappointments, and Emily learned early on that speaking up only invited more pain. She wore oversized sweaters to hide her slender frame, kept her chestnut hair in a messy ponytail, and spoke in whispers that barely carried beyond her lips. Books were her escape, worlds where heroes triumphed and villains got their due. At school, she sat in the back row, aced her tests quietly, and avoided eye contact like it was a plague. But beneath that shy exterior burned a fire, forged in the quiet hours she spent at the local community center, where an old karate instructor named Mr. Tanaka had taken her under his wing. "Strength isn't in the punch," he'd say, his voice gravelly from years of teaching. "It's in the control." Emily had trained for years, not to fight, but to find peace in a chaotic life. She never told anyone. It was her secret armor. Jake, on the other hand, was the king of the chaos. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a jawline that could cut glass, he ruled the hallways with fists and fear. His home life was a battlefield. His father, a former football star turned alcoholic, berated him daily for not living up to the family legacy. "You're weak, boy," his dad would slur, the bottle in hand like a weapon. Jake channeled that rage into school, picking on anyone smaller, quieter, or different. It made him feel powerful, even if it was a hollow crown. That day in the hallway, Emily had accidentally bumped into him while dodging a group of cheerleaders. It was nothing, a mere brush, but to Jake, it was an excuse. His shove sent her book flying, pages fluttering like wounded birds. The crowd murmured, some laughing nervously, others averting their eyes. Emily's back hit the locker with a thud that echoed in her chest, but she didn't cry out. Instead, she met his gaze for the first time, her hazel eyes steady and unyielding. 10 seconds. That's all it took. As Jake turned to walk away, smug in his victory, Emily's voice cut through the air like a whip, soft but firm. "Wait." He froze, spinning back with a laugh that died on his lips when he saw her stance. She wasn't cowering. Her feet were planted shoulder-width apart, hands loose at her sides. "You don't have to do this," she said, her words carrying a weight that belied her shyness. Jake lunged again, this time aiming a sloppy punch at her shoulder, expecting her to crumble. But Emily moved like water, sidestepping with grace, her hand coming up in a fluid block that redirected his force. He stumbled forward, off balance, and she swept her leg in a low arc, hooking his ankle. Jake hit the ground hard, the wind knocked out of him, staring up in disbelief as the hallway erupted in gasps. It wasn't violence. It was precision, a demonstration of control that left him sprawled but unharmed. "What the?" he gasped, his face flushing red with humiliation. The principal's office became the arena for the aftermath. Mr. Hargrove, a stern man with a mustache that twitched like a living thing, sat behind his desk, eyeing the two students before him. Jake slouched in his chair, nursing a bruised ego more than any physical hurt, while Emily sat straight, her hands folded in her lap. "This is unacceptable," Hargrove boomed. "Fighting in the halls. Suspensions for both of you." But Emily spoke up, her voice gaining strength. "It wasn't a fight, sir. I defended myself." She explained her training, How Mr. Tanaka had taught her self-defense after her foster family encouraged it for safety. Jake listened, his anger simmering into confusion. Why wasn't she gloating? Why did she look sad? As Hargrove deliberated, assigning Jake detention and community service while praising Emily's restraint, the seeds of change were planted. Word spread like wildfire through Willow Creek High. Did you hear? The quiet girl took down Jake Thompson. Whispers followed Emily everywhere, turning her invisibility into unwanted spotlight. She hated it. The stares, the questions. Her foster parents, the kind but distant Millers, noticed her withdrawal. You did the right thing, Em, Mrs. Miller said over dinner that night, her voice warm. But Emily shook her head. I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted it to stop. That night, she lay awake, replaying the moment. The shove had hurt, not just physically, but in the way it dredged up old memories of being pushed around in foster homes, of feeling powerless. Her challenge wasn't just the bully. It was facing her own fears, the ones that whispered she wasn't worth standing up for. Jake's world crumbled in those 10 seconds. Detention was nothing compared to the ridicule from his so-called friends. Got beat by a girl, they jeered, abandoning him like rats from a sinking ship. At home, his father laughed cruelly when he heard. Pathetic. Can't even handle a shrimp like that. Jake punched his bedroom wall, knuckles splitting, but the pain didn't drown the shame. For the first time, he questioned his path. Why was he like this? The anger that fueled him now felt like poison. His mother, a quiet woman who worked double shifts as a nurse, found him that evening, staring at the ceiling. Jake, honey, she said softly, sitting on the edge of his bed. Your father's wrong. You don't have to be like him. It was the first real conversation they'd had in years, cracking open the emotional dam he'd built. The real turning point came during community service. Hargrove assigned Jake to the same community center where Emily trained, under Mr. Tanaka's watchful eye. Clean the mats, sweep the floors, Tanaka instructed, his eyes sharp. Jake grumbled, but as he worked, he watched the classes. Kids of all ages learned not just kicks and punches, but respect, discipline. Emily was there, helping a young boy with his stance. Their eyes met across the room, and Jake felt a pang, not anger, but regret. After class, he approached her awkwardly. Hey, about the other day. I'm sorry. Emily looked up, surprised. Why? She asked simply. Jake shrugged, kicking at the mat. Because I was a jerk. My life's messed up, but that's no excuse. It was the start of an unlikely dialogue. Two broken souls sharing their scars. As weeks passed, Emily faced her own challenges. The attention at school brought out jealous whispers. Girls calling her a show-off. Boys challenging her to prove it. Her shyness amplified the anxiety, making her stomach twist into knots. One day, a group of Jake's former cronies cornered her in the parking lot. Think you're tough now? One sneered, stepping closer. Emily's heart raced, but she remembered Tanaka's words. Control. She didn't fight. She talked. You don't have to follow him. Be better. They backed off, confused, but it left her shaken. That evening, she confided in Tanaka. I don't want to be known for this, she admitted. I just want to be me. He nodded wisely. True strength is choosing peace, Emily. But sometimes, standing up is the only way. Jake's transformation was slower, more painful. Community service forced him to confront his demons. Tanaka paired him with Emily for sparring drills, not to fight, but to learn trust. Block, don't strike, Tanaka commanded. As they practiced, Jake opened up about his father, the pressure to be tough. Emily shared her losses, the foster homes that never felt like home. We're not so different, she said one day, wiping sweat from her brow. Both hiding. Jake nodded, a genuine smile breaking through. He started small changes, apologizing to past victims, joining the center's classes voluntarily. His grades improved. His mother's eyes lit up with hope. But the biggest challenge came when his father exploded one night, bottle shattering against the wall. You're going soft, he yelled. Jake stood tall, echoing Emily's calm. No, Dad. I'm getting strong. He walked out, spending the night at the center, vowing to break the cycle. Their friendship blossomed amid these trials. Emily taught Jake meditation techniques to manage anger. He helped her speak up in class, boosting her confidence. School dynamics shifted, bullying reports dropped, inspired by the hallway incident. But not without hurdles. A school dance brought tension when Jake's old friends tried